everyone, I'm Rusty Wallace, ready for another edition of Win. Today you're going to meet a couple of racers that share that common goal, to win. But with these folks, it's a little bit different. Hey, it's real different. Elton Sawyer and Patty Moise, NASCAR Grand National stars, and Mr. and Mrs. Heck, I'm not for sure if it's Mr. and Mrs. Sawyer or Mrs. and Mr. Moise. I kind of guess it depends on who finished better the last weekend, huh? Hey, their story's neat.
It may sound cruel or unfeeling, but your concentration is so hard on what you're doing, and you're really busy out there, and it takes all of your skills and abilities and concentration to get the job done out there. So you don't think about the other person. I mean, this year, one time I think we were coming by, and Elton had gotten in an altercation, was up against the wall, and it was under caution then. So I came over the radio. Did Elton get out okay? Yeah, he was fine. Okay, boom, right back, to work. I feel like he's safe. I just feel like that. So I know what can happen, but I don't think on that level.
Oh, we got a big wreck coming off of turn 2.
Second turn's caught him again. You can see Patty Moise right in the midst of it.
We both respect and understand what can happen in racing. I mean, when we strap in every Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon, we understand that, but we don't fear it.
See Musgrave in the number 9. He has gone.
Whoa, we got Sawyer. Elton Sawyer loses it right in front of anybody. Schrader just got through there.
Caution out. Elton Sawyer running 7th. Up in the wall, turn 4.
When I'm out there racing 30 or 40 other cars, I can't really think about what's happening in the 40 car, and she can't think about what's happening in the 38 car. It's tougher for me to stand on top of the truck and watch her out there practicing or making laps, and I think it's even tougher for her in the same situation. But once we get in the race cars, we try to block that out.
Elton's got to be riding around there concerned about his wife. The first few laps of this race, it hasn't been good.
She's very dedicated and very focused on her racing, and she raced for 5 or 6 years before we ever started dating or got married, and it just wouldn't be fair, and I would have never even considered getting married and say, okay, now I want you to stay home and be a housewife, and I'm going to go race. And on the other hand, I didn't feel like she was going to come in and tell me, okay, I want you to stop racing, and you stay home and look after the kids and iron and things like that. So it's been great for us.
When I'm racing, it's sort of, when you're racing against any of those guys out there, you do pull up in your computer banks in your mind what you know about them. Because there's some people it's harder to race around than others. There's some you trust more than others. I know I can trust him. I know he's going to race me hard. He always has, but I know I can trust him. So, and I actually, I like racing against that kind of people. So it's more fun. If I can see him up ahead, it's sort of like the rabbit, to go after.
If you follow Elton Sawyer and Patty Moise for a race weekend, it's like the old Saturday afternoon matinee. A few chases, an ambush or two, and a lot of cliffhangers.
Win is presented to you by Allied Signal's Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.
I've been thinking, what should we name this episode? I guess you could name it after a soap opera. Now, let me think. What about The Young and the Reckless? Now, maybe not. As the Wheels Turn. Ah, heck, I guess it wouldn't matter what you call it. You got to call it tough, real tough. When you're not only racing against those others, but you're also racing against your spouse.
I think Patty's a good race car driver, and the only thing I know about it is Elton is probably as focused as I've ever seen him, and maybe this is a real plus for him that that he is this focused. And there is some concerns. I'm concerned for Elton because I'm friends with he and Patty, and I'm concerned about that. If my wife were racing, I would really be concerned. I worry about her driving home from work at night. So yeah, I would be concerned. There's a little bit of concern. She wrecked at Daytona, and I know that it's got to bother you. If you go by and see your wife wrecked there, that would definitely bother me.
Oh, he got a crash up in turns 1 and 2, right in the middle of the corner. That's the 40 car, Patty Moise.
94 of Steve Hoddick, one of the Busch Grand National North drivers, is involved.
That black car right down the corner is Kurt Schummerdine, I believe. That's Patty Moise, the Dial Purex car.
I don't think ever in the car, no. I think out of the car, yes, Patty's gonna keep an eye on Elton at times. If we happen to fall out or something ever, like that, she's gonna keep an eye on him after we're done. When they're out in the car, I believe any racer will tell you that their job is to try and win that race, and they're focusing on that. Their car is what they're paying attention to, and I don't believe you'll see much there.
Car takes a set there. You feel like you got it under you, go ahead and go like half, and then correct. But once you get half, and don't wait very long, you go ahead and just and really stay on the map then, and don't let it.
That's pretty critical here, and getting in is you don't want to be tentative.
In both places, I'd rather give up just a little bit, getting in, back off, and let it, feel comfortable turning.
You know what I've been worried about doing that. But it's not, I'm like what you said, get, pretty much a lot of throttle and then ease on the pedal. But I'm always concerned that I don't end up getting out of it too soon and then try to get back in it too soon and induce a push coming on.
It's a double-edged sword for her, and I probably never looked at it as closely until we got married as I do now.
38th on the grid from Jacksonville, Florida, the Dial Purex Ford of Patty Moise.
She gets more opportunities to, sponsors are out there and say, well, we'd like to get associated with Patty Moise because she's the only woman out there, or there's only a few of them, and we'll get more attention and our sponsor will get more recognition. But also, when she goes out and has a bad day or the car doesn't run well or for some reason, then, well, maybe she can't drive. But like you say, it's a double-edged sword, and she handles that very well.
I think that what happens a lot with women is that in racing is that, and Shauna and I talked about this one day, is that you're not really given as much time as the guys, because you almost have to be like spectacular right out of the box, or they're saying, okay, she had her one chance, boom, next. But they let the men have a lot more time than that. I mean, you can look at some of the guys and see how long it took them, even in Winston Cup, how long it took them to win a race, or it's still taking them to win a race. And yet you don't hear that, you really don't hear that. And yet with the woman, you get just that period of time. So I don't think that's probably a thing that's done on a conscious level, but it does happen. But hey, you accept the things you cannot change the things you can, and wisdom know the difference, hopefully.
Win is brought to you by cold-filtered Miller Genuine Draft, making the world a very cool place.
Brought to you by Jiffy Lube. If it doesn't say Jiffy Lube, it just isn't Jiffy Lube.
It's nice when your mate has an understanding of your job's frustrations. Boy, do Elton and Patty understand. They've been winners. They've both suffered terrible wrecks. They've both lost their rides, and they keep on coming back.
I think it's a huge asset for me. I don't know that I could have been married to somebody who was I don't think I could have been married to anybody other than Elton, quite frankly. Probably nobody else put up with me, but no, it is. It's a big asset to be able to talk to somebody who totally understands. I mean, not only does he understand all the outside parts of the race car, but he also understands the inside of actually driving it. So it's a big asset. We just understand when it's been a good or bad day, and how the other's feeling. You've been there, you've done that, you know exactly how they're feeling.
Hi, I'm Elton Sawyer, and my favorite person in racing is no other than my best friend and toughest competitor, Patty.
Cutie.
There's a match for everyone out there, and I was just very fortunate that I found my match. Patty and I were very competitive personalities, sort of independent personalities, but we also, we work as a team. You know, she's not only my wife, but she's my best friend. And if I've got a problem, no matter what it is, I can go to her, and we can sit down and we have a great communication, and we can work it out, no matter if it's personal life or if it's racing. And I think it just really works exceptionally well for us. There may be another race car driver out there that would not work for. You know, it wouldn't work for him or for her, but for us it works.
Look out, look out. Good job, Patty. 25-25 on that. I'd really like to work on the bottom down there in 4. We're taking a straight shot up the track, and the other cars will turn them right there when you enter 3.
So we got the 2 lap sculls. Yep, bumped them up 4 on the right and 3 on the left. You still got your rubber in the right rear, half. Got your 1.5 inch open on the grill. I screwed up the second lap. I just got in there too hot. Should have. New track record. Well, I told Randy if I want to hold up, this game's where we need to be. All right, we're going to race them hard. Good job. Proud of you.
I think so much of our sport is confidence and attitude. If you go into it thinking that you're beat, I'll guarantee you're beat. But if you go in there thinking, look, I can go out here and do this, and you don't have to broadcast it to everybody, but inside of you, you're telling yourself, you can do this. You put your pants on just like these guys do, or ladies.
You want to be able to fit your head in any size helmet, no matter how small. This is definitely, you know, the business to be in. If you're not willing to do that, though, and there's plenty of people that aren't, you know, that after a while it just wears you down and you aren't, then you don't need to be. You have to want it bad enough to go through all that, I think. Very few people have the opportunity to do it without doing that, without having to eat some humble pie on occasion.
Promotional consideration for Win is provided by Sony.
Sony ESP electronic shock protection protects your music from almost any jumps, skips, or sudden stops in the Sony Car Discman CD player.
And Stock Car Racing Magazine. Subscribe to the world's most popular racing publication at the one-year discount price of $14.97. Call toll-free 1-800-333-2633. And by Allied Signals Bendix Brakes, the best-known name in brakes. Autolite presents Force in Your Face.
You want to know what's better than winning a drag race? Well, I can tell you, okay? It's not the party that follows or the winner's circle. It's going home. And let me tell you something. I got 3 little girls at home myself just waiting for me after a race. You know, you sneak into that house at midnight, you just got off the plane, you put that trophy up on the mantle that you just won, and you hang your hat up. And that's when the fun starts. You sneak upstairs, you wake them 3 little blondes up, and you bring them down to their favorite thing, late night TV with Daddy. You get them some Oreo cookies, you switch on that monster movie, and all heck breaks loose, right? You don't tell Mom about it. Oh, no, this is Dad's night with the girls. That's what's special about it. They don't care about the paycheck you made. They care about one thing, Oreo cookies, Daddy, and late night at the movies. I love it. There's nothing better, trust me.
Well, I know that was a feature you were all waiting for, that moment of meditation with John Force. Now let's rejoin Elton Sawyer and Patty Moise as they square off at the Rockingham, for a 300-mile family feud.
No driver errors today, all right?
No, I used those up yesterday.
All done?
Yeah, I hope
Good
so.
luck, Patty.
Thanks, y'all too. Everybody's been picking on me about my qualifying lap. I told them it was the poster lap for how not to do it. They will use that in future rookie meetings of how you don't want to do it, get around this racetrack.
Our plan today is to finish this race. We'd like to finish on the lead lap. Starting where we're starting, that's really going to be a tough thing to do. The car's going to have to be just right. Patty's going to have to be just right. And every call that she makes on the track will have to be just about perfect. And that's a lot to ask of any driver. Very few of these drivers probably finish the race and think they did everything perfect. And the one that wins did it better than everybody else that given day.
You know, if we go to a race and she's qualified extremely well and I've just had a terrible day in qualifying, you know, she's 5th or 6th or on the pole and we're about 30th. You know, that's pretty depressing for me, but on the other hand, I'm happy for her. You know, I'm disappointed I didn't have a good day, but I'm happy for her. And the same thing if the shoe's on the other foot. I mean, yeah, it's a two-sided coin there, basically, for us. I mean, it's hard for both of us to have a great day because one of us is going to be first and the other one's going to be second. But we do have a joint checking account, so all the money goes in there. So that's the good part about it.
I'd like to welcome everybody to North Carolina Motor Speedway and the Goodrich 200. The race today is 200 miles. Starting time is 1 o'clock. I'd like to caution all of you today at the start of the race to use your heads. Let's get some heat in the tires, not try to win the race on the first lap.
Load up. She did good.
What happened, Elton?
Load up. When Rockingham was over, Elton finished 32nd, Patty 14th. The one thing you have to do, though, when the race is through, you have to play the game all over again. Now, can you imagine the conversation that's going on in that car on the way home? Elton, Patty, good luck. For a win, I'm Rusty Wallace.
Well, how was your day?
Well, it was all right. After I did that poster lap of what not to do in qualifying, it could only get better. How about you?
I don't know, something happened to the engine. 2 weeks in a row.
Win is presented to you by Allied Signals Fram filter products. Fram, you can pay a little now or a lot later. And by Autolite spark plugs and wire and cable products. Autolite spark plugs, guaranteed for 2 years, no matter how far you go.